Hello, welcome to the Anfield Review Pod. I am Owen James. This is your Liverpool news update, guys. Look, it is match day, but we're going to talk about other things as well as obviously the match day. We did do a podcast earlier today, which is out on the channel, which obviously previews the game. We've also got our morning news video. That is out currently as well. Loads of great content. Look, if you don't want to miss out on any of the great content, make sure you like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell, then you won't ever miss out when we bring out a new video here on the Anfield Review podcast. Guys, look, we're going to look into a name that has been linked with Liverpool, a manager. Now, look, I know that Arne Slot is still the Liverpool head coach, manager, whatever you wish to call him. His position obviously is under great threat. I think he'll be here to the end. For what it's worth, I think he will be here till the end of the season. And barring a miracle, which is a Champions League win, I think he stays. I think he will. Obviously, that's the only way he can stay in position. I think he is really going to struggle to keep hold of his job, especially if Richard Hughes departs to Al Hilal in the summer. Look, there are multiple names been linked with a move to Liverpool as their new head coach, stroke manager, whatever you wish to term them. Obviously, Xabi Alonso has been the big one that has been linked continually with this move to Liverpool. But a name that's come up in the last few days, a German manager, maybe kind of a longing back to the days of Jurgen Klopp. There does seem to be a number of Germans been linked with the job. Obviously, Julian Nagelsmann, the current Germany head coach, linked with the job post World Cup. The new name that is on the rounds at the moment is this guy here, Seb Hoeness, who is the Stuttgart manager. Very much seemed sort of termed as being a Klopp 2.0 kind of thing, a harking back to those days. Hey, who knows? It could be something, it could be nothing. Now, the story is that Michael Edwards has held talks with Sebastian Hoeness' people. Now, people may say, well, this is rubbish, whatever. But, I think one thing you need to need to understand is this. That teams do kind of have a sort of shortlist of players, managers. If a manager leaves, they have to change manager. So there is a progression planning there. So there could be some truth in the talk of this conversation which has taken place with Sebastian Hoeness, the current VfB Stuttgart manager. In terms of who he is, he's 43 years old. He is from Munich in Germany. He started off his managerial career with Bayern Munich's second team between 2019 and 2020. He then went on to manage Hoffenheim, TSG Hoffenheim in the Bundesliga between 2020 and 2022. And he is currently the head coach or manager of Stuttgart in the German Bundesliga. And has been credited for really turning round Stuttgart's form. Stuttgart were a team that were around the relegation zone an awful lot. Really struggling, really not doing well at all. Stuttgart sit currently fourth in the table and in the Champions League places, very much online for Champions League football next season. They've played 26 this season, won 15, drawn 15, lost 6, with a positive goal difference of plus 17. They're also still in the Europa League, most recently, of course, putting out Celtic. Always good to see Celtic get beat. In terms of his managerial stats and career, they're not hugely impressive. It's only kind of been in recent times when this guy has kind of shot up in the list of managers that bigger teams are looking at. With Bayern Munich's second team, he won 50% of his games, winning 19 of 38, losing 11. With a plus 16 goal difference. He had a harder time at Hoffenheim. The team was going through some difficult periods at that time. 81 matches, won 31, drew 21, lost 29, 143 goals for, 132 goals against, with a positive 11 goal difference. Only a 38% win rate with Hoffenheim. However, he then moved on to Stuttgart. Look, I know what you're going to say before we talk about that Stuttgart start. You're going to say that ain't great. That's not very good, is it? Those statistics, particularly from Hoffenheim, don't look very good for a Liverpool manager. And I get that. And you know what? There's always a story, isn't there, with any of this? Look, I'm not an expert on German football. I don't really watch a lot of German football. He signed a 3-year contract after finishing in 9th place in the 2021-2022 season. Him and Hoffenheim parted ways, so it certainly wasn't a disastrous end. He hadn't got them in relegation difficulties or anything like that. In April 2023, however, he became the new manager of Stuttgart and led the club from bottom of the table led us into the relegation playoffs. Big turnaround in form, and then obviously Stuttgart defeated Hamburg to remain in the league. He then extended his contract, and has done really, really well. Sort of in the last thing, he did lead them. They did play Champions League football last season. They're now in the Europa League, obviously, as I've said. They did lose the German Super Cup. He has only won one trophy though during his time with Stuttgart. That was a 4-2 win in the German Cup final against Arminia Bielefeld. That was their fourth cup win and the first trophy for Stuttgart since 2006-2007 when they actually won the Bundesliga. Like I said, it is the only trophy that he has won in his major trophy that he has won in his managerial career. He did win the third division in Germany with Bayern Munich's second team. But I think that's obviously one thing that may count against him is his lack of trophies. When Jurgen came to us, he obviously won the German league. He got to Champions League finals. Had a much better record, didn't he, when he joined the club, Jurgen, in terms of trophies won and etc. etc. Whereas obviously this guy obviously doesn't have a hugely brilliant league winning sort of cup winning kind of tradition. Like I said, this is his only trophy during his time with VfB in the German Bundesliga. So look, there are concerns over this. Don't get me wrong, over him as a manager. It is his style of playing. It is the way he's turned the Bundesliga team around. It is the way that he has adapted himself. He was also involved with the RB setup as well. He was involved with the RB Leipzig setup. So certainly a guy who understands kind of that transition, that transfer trading model. Does hold a UEFA Pro license. Prefers to play a 4-2-3-1. Now, in terms of his style of football, this is scouting that's taken from Total Football, credited for this. Sebastian Hoeness is tactically flexible, possession-oriented manager known for rejuvenating VfB Stuttgart through a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-4-2. So he has a tactical flexibility. He's not stubborn. He's not unwilling to change. But unlike our obviously current manager, he blending structured build-up play with creative attacking freedom. I think, if you kind of look at what Liverpool lack at this moment in time, yes, we have a possession-based style, and we have, if that's what you could kind of term it, I think that's what Slot is trying to do, and a structured build-up, but it's too slow. Whereas Hoeness seems to sort of combine that a little bit with giving players more freedom to go and express themselves. Now, one of the big criticisms I think which can be levelled at Arne Slot is that he doesn't give the likes of Florian Wirtz, Ekitike and Salah this season to go and express themselves and be creative in that way. His style emphasises fluid rotations, very much as Jurgen Klopp did when he had Bobby, Mo and Sadio Mane as a front three. High intensity pressing. Now this is a key thing that kind of harks back to the Klopp days, that he is a kind of mini Klopp, that he likes that Gegen press, he likes that high intensity press, that pushing up. And again, like Jurgen Klopp likes to develop young talent, certainly something that Arne Slot has not done in his time as Liverpool head coach. Often using inverted fullbacks to control central areas. So he brings control, he brings gegenpress, he brings high progression, he brings fluidity, he brings a more attacking style of play, which I think would better suit Liverpool, and certainly I think would certainly get the fans back to the days of Jurgen Klopp. So look, there are huge positives to Sebastian Hoeness. The downside, of course, is the situation around the fact that he is not a manager who's won a lot of trophies. He doesn't have a great deal of experience in terms of managing a very high level. And obviously his successes have been more recent. He has had failures in the past, like this Hoffenheim time. But that is who he is, guys. That is who Sebastian Hoeness is. Let me know your thoughts on Sebastian Hoeness. Let me know, is he the sort of person you would like to see managing Liverpool? Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you on the next one.